Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Klaner. I am the product manager for COMTRAXX. COMTRAXX is the software that runs on all of our condition monitors and gateways. So as an example, I brought with me here a EDGE500IP, but most of what I am about to show today is also true for the COM465 and all its variants, as well as the CP9 in all its variants. Here I have an EDGE500IP directly connected via cable with my laptop. So to get to the web interface and to open up the COMTRAXX software, we need to enter this IP address here, 169.254.0.1, and go straight to it. And then we will go to this landing page here, where we see some information about the device. Not much else here. And the first thing I would like to show you is our visualization. So I click here on Show Visualization. What we see here is 3 halls of a production site maybe. All of them are currently green, so no faults or anything. We're going to turn on a simulation here. And what we will see in a second here is that an alarm is triggered. We see here hall 1, the drilling machine has an issue. It's also here in red. We also see the issue down here. Let's click on hall 1 and see what's going on. Alright, so here we have a overview of a floor plan maybe that's in hall 1. We see here this drilling machine that has the error at 55 or 60 milliamps. Obviously a little high for a real-world application, would have been triggered before, but for our simulation purposes here I think it's okay. And on the left side here we also see a data logger that is logging the measurements exactly of this drilling machine here. So we see here, down here, as long as it was at 10 milliamps for the whole time, nothing happened. Turned on the simulation, it jumped up here to the 60 milliamps and the alarm is triggered. And now if I turn it off again, we see that the measurement goes down again. Data logger also obviously goes down again, everything green again, no alarm anymore, and everything good. Okay, now let's take a look at hall 2. Here we have a couple of engines running and see that some doors are locked. Now our application probably won't be used for actual door controls. It's just to show with the digital inputs what we can do with our system. So as long as any of the motors is running, the doors are locked and our lamp is still green. Now if I turn all of the motors off, we see that A, the doors become unlocked, and B, the lamp starts flashing in yellow. So everyone knows that something is in a state that we do not want, because we want our motors to be running. And now as soon as we turn a motor on again, at least one of them, we see that the doors are locked again, the lamp is green again, and yeah, doesn't matter if 1, 2 or all 3 are turned on. It's just important that at least one is running. And yeah, this is just to show you one possible application that or what we can do with our visualization. Okay, third thing, here we see an energy overview of some consumption of a couple of engines and batteries. Now, this is also obviously simulated, so therefore the values don't only go up as they would normally do, but well, yeah, simulation purposes. So we can read energy of different sources, can combine them together, for example, 2 motors of one machine, 2 machines of one production line, and maybe the entire production hall. And this is the total consumption then up here. And we have at least some sort of basic energy overview that can be used as a basis for energy management. Now, how can we build such a visualization? What do we need for this? First of all, let's maybe start with the data logger that we saw previously and how to set up this. For this, we go into our system overview, go to the condition monitor that we want to set the data logger up with, so that the measurement channel is on. Now we only have one EDGE500 here, so we select this, go into the device menu, open up the history and logger, and we will set up a new one now that has not been used previously. So let's call this test, for example. Now we select the path, so which measurement do we actually want to log. So here we go into the gateway, look at a connection variable that we set up for the simulation. Now normally you would have the real measurement device that you want to log. And what we have here now are variables for the simulation. Here we see the drilling machine that we set up previously, so that's what we select. Say OK. We set it to on. And now we have three options what we can do when we actually want to log a data point. We can say either when the measurement changes by a certain percentage, or if it changes by an absolute value, or we can set it by a different time span. So the simulation that we saw had an absolute change. So if the measurement gets too high, then it is logged. Now we will just do a trigger, for example, every 15 minutes, let's say. And now we say save. All right, so that's pretty much the same thing that we set up previously. And now let's take a look how we can create such a visualization as we saw it before. Now we can't go into every detail, but just to explain the basic principle here. So what we do is to open up our editor, and in the editor we see the visualization that we previously took a look at. Everything you see here is combined of different widgets. Also, for example, this data logger here is a line graph widget. So let's maybe just replicate it. For this, we go to this line graph here, just drag it into our visualization. Now here's not a lot of space left on this page, but let's just put it here anyways. And what we need to do now, quite a few settings that we can set. The most relevant one is which logger do we actually want to display. So we just set up data logger 9, for example. This is the one that will go every 15 minutes. Put it here, and now this will generate a graph with a measurement value of every 15 minutes what's going on with this drilling machine. And this is the basic principle how all of these widgets work. Now we have different ones here. So we have measurement widgets, we have line graph widgets, label widgets. All of them are meant to visualize measurements in a different way. The important part is always which value do you want to visualize, how shall it look, and what should happen with it. If you can you maybe click on it or not? And all of these settings can be done here in the sidebar. Next thing, I would like to show you what we can do with connections and virtual devices. So for this, we go into our Tools menu here, and in the Device Management section, we see virtual devices, connections, and connection variables. And especially connections and connection variables are very important to do what we previously saw in the visualization. So for example, in our connections, we can go here to this error simulation or this fault simulation that we previously set up. So here we have set a trigger for when we click on the visualization button, what should happen, or when this should happen, so what the trigger is, the click. Then what input we want to give there, and what should happen at the end as an output. So the input then is the simulated measurement values that we have, and the outputs are that the value of the machine is changed, that we generate the alarms, that the relay is triggered, so we show the red arrow lamp, or that the lamp turns red. And all of that is set up with a single connection that we have created here. If you want to create a new connection, you add an entry here, then depending on what kind of connection you want to do, you name it, select what your input shall be, what your output, what you want your output to be, and then you can use it in the visualization right afterwards. Another thing is the virtual devices. With virtual devices, we can do logic and mathematical operations with measurements. So let's say you want to know the total energy consumption of different devices that are not tied together and want to have them in one overview. You can create one virtual device that goes beyond the limits of any physical, what one single physical device could do, could add up all these measurements together to one big measurement, because you maybe want to know the total information of one room, and then you can do this with one of these virtual devices. Finally, we also have a lot of documentation features. For this, we go here to the service area of our navigation. In the service area, we see all kinds of recordings, documentation options, and these are always very useful in the case if our support needs some information from you. If there's an error with the device, you don't know what's going on, then you can document everything for our support. But what I want to look now at is the document system option. In here you can create PDF files of your entire system to just know which devices are in there, which parameters are set, have a timestamp on it, and yeah, here you can select what you want to export, all available information. If you want the parameters to be exported, we can just do this here by clicking on Generate PDF. Then we see that the zip file falls out. Now we only have 3 devices, 2 virtual ones and the EDGE500. And now we see the system documentation of all devices here and the information of them. And for every single device, there's also another file that shows the device itself and also all of the parameters that are set for this device. So these are some of the most important software features that we have in COMTRAXX. There's quite a few more, but that's all I have for you today. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope you learned something and can use COMTRAXX better in the future, and see you in the next video. Bye.